Today, we are going to be talking about one of the most important considerations that is overlooked when people are looking for somebody to list their home for sale. We meet with a lot of sellers every year, and it's very common for us to receive a similar line of questioning from sellers regarding listing their home. They often fall into categories of, how will you market my home? What is your fee? What do you recommend for staging? Where would you price this home? Those are very common questions that most sellers ask and that we're very used to answering. One of the questions that we never get asked, however, almost ever, that is very important is, what is our knowledge of contracts, specifically the representation agreements, purchase agreements, all of the addenda that go into these agreements. There's amendments, there's addendums. All of these things comprise the paperwork that makes up a real estate transaction, and knowledge of that is so important.
Yeah, and I think the biggest takeaway you should take just from, this is a broad topic, but from this topic is do your research, ask some questions when you're meeting with an agent, and they should have pretty good answers on how they analyze contracts, represent you in these contracts. And I think it's probably the most overlooked piece of the job that we do, is just making sure our clients are represented properly with the terminology and all that's entailed in these contracts.
Yeah, a lot of times we will see for a very common example of why this is important in a real life scenario would be a situation where you have gone through an inspection contingency period. It has expired, several days go by, and now the buyer wants to extend the contingency or do some additional inspections after that contingency has lapsed. And a lot of times the other side of the transaction, the buyer has no idea that their contingency has lapsed. And the problem with that for a seller becomes now the expectations on the other side of the table are not realistic. So it's important to have that contractual knowledge so that all the parties to the transaction can be educated on these are what the expectations are for timelines, agreements, and so forth.
Yeah, and oftentimes if you find that there are issues, with contracts, sometimes it's too late. So ask the questions up front, and every agent that's a good agent that wants to do well for their clients is going to have a good response to the question about contracts and how they do it.
If we can answer any specific questions for you, please let us know. Thank you for watching our video and have a great day.